Apple is working on an AI version of Siri called LLM Siri for release in 2026. Larry Ellison, a billionaire, claims that a large AI-driven surveillance system can guarantee that citizens will be on their best behavior. Apple is working on an AI version of Siri called LLM Siri for release in 2026. Larry Ellison, a billionaire, claims that a large AI-driven surveillance system can guarantee that citizens will be on their best behavior. The Free Software Foundation has declared that the Llama 3.1 community license does not qualify as a free software license.
John McAfee has been transformed into an AI memecoin and chatbot, boasting a market capitalization of $27 million. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is investigating the potential application of blockchain technology to enhance efficiency within the United States government. Additionally, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong has noted that the rapid increase in new tokens, with approximately 1 million being created weekly on the platform, is complicating the evaluation process. Multi-drug-resistant bacteria discovered in the depths of New Mexico's Lechuguilla Cave. A study spanning decades reveals that men reduce their emotional support networks by half between the ages of 30 and 90. The Einstein probe investigates a mysterious cosmic explosion that occurred 12.5 billion years ago.
Costco is making the official change from Pepsi to Coke in its food court. The Las Vegas Sphere utilizes 150 NVIDIA GPUs, and during lighting peaks, it is estimated to consume the same energy as 21,000 homes. SenseTime intends to separate its healthcare platform to leverage the potential of advanced large language models. M23 rebels, supported by Rwanda, assert control over a significant city in the Congo, which the Congo describes as an act of war. The UN Secretary-General appeals for Rwandan forces to retreat from the DR Congo. The EU dismisses the election in Belarus and warns of potential new sanctions. An exit poll in Belarus indicates Lukashenko received 87.6% of the vote in the presidential election. Iran and Afghanistan advocate for increased cooperation during high-level discussions in Kabul.
Trump suggests a plan to completely clear Gaza and relocate Palestinians to Jordan and Egypt. Albania plans to establish a Bektashi state similar to the Vatican in Tirana. A new Calexit proposal for California's secession has been approved for signature collection, aiming to place the measure on the ballot. CIA concludes that COVID-19 is more likely to have originated from a laboratory. A recently found asteroid is revealed to be the Tesla Roadster that was sent into space. The renowned helmet of Coto Finesti and other items from an exhibition on Romania's Dacian treasures have been taken from a Dutch museum as thieves forcefully blast open the museum door and steal archaeological artifacts.
Methylphenidate, a typical ADHD medication, might enhance driving skills in certain individuals. Flash irradiation at extremely high dose rates enhances the distinction between normal and tumor tissue in mice. Research suggests ants possess a traffic awareness and can address urban transportation issues. Putin expresses willingness to meet Trump for a peaceful discussion. Ukraine plans to provide financial incentives to enhance military recruitment among individuals aged 18 to 25. Large numbers of Slovaks protest in the streets against Prime Minister Fico's support for Russia. Leaked documents reveal a plan to expose anonymous Wikipedia editors through hacking and facial recognition. NPR indicates that the White House is considering allowing Oracle and U.S. investors to acquire TikTok. Trump claims he has discussed a TikTok sale with numerous individuals, excluding Oracle. Musk refutes reports of his dissatisfaction with the operations of X.
China to host world's first human-robot marathon as robotics drives national goals. Pet healthcare booms in China as furry friends outnumber infants and toddlers. 5 months ago, Financial Times reported that China's urban pets forecast to outnumber toddlers this year. Reportedly, China's Sichuan University overtakes Stanford, MIT, and Oxford in high-quality research. A peculiar signal is being detected from a galaxy that is no longer active, according to scientists. Meanwhile, a study proposes that a relativistic electron beam might be able to accelerate a probe towards Alpha Centauri. Additionally, Brazil has prohibited Sam Altman's technology company, Tools for Humanity, from covering the costs of iris scans. Trump mentions the possibility of rejoining the World Health Organization. The UN states that the U.S. will exit the organization on January 22, 2026. Trump previously ordered the U.S. withdrawal. Allegedly, drug lord Joss Liedecker seeks refuge in Sierra Leone after marrying the president's daughter. Sierra Leone is reportedly investigating these claims about the Dutch drug kingpin. In Germany, police are examining a Heil salute projected onto a Tesla factory. Activists responded to Musk's gesture with a projection. Netanyahu supports Musk amid the Nazi salute controversy, calling him a dear friend of Israel.
Silicon Valley is experiencing significant turmoil due to China's latest AI models. Meta is reportedly in a frenzy after Chinese AI matches its own capabilities, causing disruption in the region. Recently, DeepSeek announced that its reasoning model surpasses OpenAI's O1 on specific benchmarks. Japan's chip market shares are declining as DeepSeek's advancements instill competition-related fears. The USA has imposed restrictions on Swiss access to AI computer chips.
Spotify and Universal have reached a new agreement, which includes a direct partnership with Universal Music Publishing Group in the United States. Naomi Girma has become the first women's soccer player to earn $1 million, following her transfer from San Diego to Chelsea. The point-and-click horror game Last Half of Darkness, originally launched 35 years ago, is experiencing a revival.
The United States and Colombia have agreed on deportation matters, while tariff and sanctions discussions are temporarily paused. Previously, President Trump imposed 25% tariffs and sanctions on Colombia due to a disagreement over migrants, leading Colombia to reconsider accepting deportees on military aircraft following Trump's threats. Additionally, Trump expressed his confidence that the U.S. will eventually acquire Greenland. In the United Kingdom, Trump's phone conversations with British leaders are said to have amused staff, so much that they were left in tears from laughter.
Ryanair, a budget airline, has revised its passenger traffic target downward once more due to delays in Boeing aircraft deliveries. According to reports, U.S. stocks have experienced an increase of over 20% for the second consecutive year. OpenAI is set to engage in a copyright dispute with digital news companies owned by Mukesh Ambani and Gautam Adani. Iran's Revolutionary Guards commander announced that Iran acquired Russian Sukhoi 35 fighter jets. North Korean cannons intended to devastate Seoul are being deployed to the front lines in Ukraine. Russia has released a school textbook claiming it was compelled to invade Ukraine. The UK population is expected to increase to 72.5 million by 2032, according to the ONS, primarily due to a rise in net migration. President Trump has issued an order to prevent federal funding for gender transitions for minors. President Trump has brought back service members who were discharged for not complying with the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Frank Lloyd Wright's Seoul skyscraper is set to be sold for $1.4 million following a lengthy legal battle. A new HomePod hub featuring a 7-inch screen is scheduled to launch in 2025. The GTA Vice City Next Gen Edition fan project has been released, with modders intensifying their efforts despite opposition from Take-Two. Reuters indicates that Russian oil refining is increasing as U.S. sanctions focus on crude exports, according to sources. NATO states that the threat to plot the murder of the Rheinmetall CEO was part of a sabotage campaign. 6 months prior, the U.S. and Germany thwarted a Russian plot to assassinate the CEO of the arms manufacturer supplying weapons to Ukraine. Denmark is increasing its Arctic defense spending by $2.1 billion, influenced by U.S. pressure. In the United States, recent research reveals that baby boomers possess $17 trillion of the nation's total home equity, suggesting that the silver tsunami may result in a significant transfer of wealth to the children of baby boomer homeowners. New Zealand is simplifying the process for digital nomads to work, aiming to support its ailing economy. Saudi Arabia has risen 15 positions to rank 12th in global tourist expenditure, according to UN Tourism. Pakistan's Senate approves a ban on fake news on social media, prompting protests from journalists over the bill's provisions for controlling social media content. South Sudan reinstates Facebook and TikTok after their suspension. Google pledges to tackle fake reviews in the UK following a 5-year investigation. concerns about China's DeepSeek in the AI race grow. Scientific American notes that AI is too unpredictable to align with human objectives. Meanwhile, Meta AI is now able to utilize data from Facebook and Instagram to tailor its responses.
Trump mentions that Microsoft is negotiating to might have emerged at the universe's beginning. In Denmark, a 66-million-year-old Porsche Penske Motorsport has achieved its 20th win at the prestigious 24 Hours of Daytona event. Neymar's contract with Al Hilal has been ended following an injury-plagued period, with Santos preparing for his return as the Brazil forward's future becomes clearer. 200 UK companies have committed to a permanent 4-day workweek. A Gartner finance survey indicates that CFOs intend to reduce pay increases once more in 2025. Spotify discloses $10 billion in music industry payouts for 2024. China indicates readiness to bring back confirmed Chinese citizens residing in the U.S. Italy dispatches an additional 49 migrants to Albania for processing, despite previous court denials. Trump takes steps to expel 1.4 million migrants who entered under Biden's parole initiatives. Research indicates that global warming could result in millions of heat-related deaths across Europe. Meanwhile, Mumbai is considering a prohibition on petrol and diesel vehicles due to air pollution issues. Additionally, Osaka has implemented a ban on street smoking in preparation for Expo 2025. Trump announces plans to implement tariffs on semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, and certain metals. DeepSeek's AI application has been alleged to transmit user data, conversations, and all uploaded files to servers located in China. A proposed new bill in the United States Congress would permit AI systems to generate prescriptions.
Elon Musk claims his $1 million election giveaway was legal since the winners were not chosen randomly. 3 months prior, Musk announced a $1 million giveaway for voters who signed a petition in key battleground states. Additionally, an analysis indicates that the Trump meme coin likely generated at least $11 million in fees. Furthermore, it is reported that Denmark and other countries are under pressure and are seeking lobbyists with connections to Trump. Scientists reveal a brain-computer interface enabling users to pilot a virtual drone using their thoughts. Microplastics are detected in the brains of mice shortly after ingestion. An epigenetic study discovers that sperm cells contain remnants of childhood stress. China Bank's CEO and chairman stepped down amid growing worries over a projected $6.2 billion loss. HSBC plans to withdraw from M&A and capital markets operations in the UK, Europe, and the US. Ray Dalio cautions that Wall Street's AI bubble mirrors the dot-com era's excesses.
Anthropic is introducing citations, a new API feature that enables Claude to base its responses on source documents, as part of RAG. The Vatican has released a document on AI, cautioning against the development of a substitute for God. OpenAI claims to have evidence that China's DeepSeek utilized its model for training the competitor. Microsoft is investigating whether a group linked to DeepSeek improperly acquired OpenAI data.
The SEC has withdrawn a contentious rule that barred banks from holding cryptocurrency. X has revealed a collaboration with Visa to enhance X Money's wallet functionality, with X indicating that its payment service will be available in 2025. France has initiated an investigation into Binance.
The European Union is considering a prohibition on the sale of gaming consoles to Russia, citing their potential use in controlling drones. Additionally, the EU is making arrangements for sanctions targeting Russian aluminum, 15 banks, and the shadow fleet, according to Bloomberg. Meanwhile, Brazil has declared Cuba, Bolivia, and 7 other nations as new members of the BRICS organization. Furthermore, North Korea's leader, Kim, has pledged to indefinitely enhance the country's nuclear program.
Apple and SpaceX collaborate to enhance Starlink satellite network compatibility with iPhones. Huawei plans to introduce new devices in 2025 that will operate on its native Harmony OS, moving away from Android, as the Chinese government intensifies efforts to promote Harmony OS, establishing adoption goals to surpass Windows, Android, and iOS. The Norway Wealth Fund reports a record annual profit of $222 billion, driven by the tech boom. White House opens doors to new media. allocates seats in press briefing room as White House to open media access to podcasters, influencers. It has been commented as, Trump leans on World War II Japanese incarceration law to deport immigrants. Trump offering federal workers buyouts with about 8 months' pay in effort to shrink government. The White House is assessing the impact of the China AI application DeepSeek on national security. The U.S. Navy has prohibited the use of DeepSeek because of security and ethical concerns. According to White House AI's R. David Sachs, DeepSeek was developed using OpenAI models. KuCoin admits guilt in cryptocurrency case, commits to $300 million payment. United Kingdom expresses concerns over cloud competition, identifying Microsoft and Amazon as major players. Researchers suggest modifying Linux code could reduce data center energy consumption by 30%.
Block Open Source unveils codename Goose, an open framework designed for AI agents. Alibaba announces the release of an AI model that it asserts exceeds the capabilities of DeepSeek v3. LinkedIn takes action by deleting accounts of AI co-workers who are actively seeking employment opportunities.
Roseanne Barr is planning a comeback with a new comedy series centered on a family that saves America with guns, the Bible, petty crime, and alcoholism. Dolly Parton's musical about her life will debut in Nashville and then move to Broadway in 2026. The Mona Lisa will have her own room as the Louvre expands to address overcrowding. Macron visits the Louvre amid reports of disrepair, raising concerns about the Mona Lisa, and Italy is ready to welcome the Mona Lisa due to Louvre infrastructure issues. GLP-1 drug use reduces grocery expenses by 6%, according to a study. The UK fertility watchdog reports that technology for lab-grown eggs, or sperm, is nearing viability. China declares it extremely unlikely that the COVID pandemic originated from a lab leak, while the CIA suggests otherwise. In the U.S., Rand Paul has subpoenaed 14 agencies regarding the origins of COVID-19.
Conor McGregor criticizes pro-Palestine marches in Ireland and suggests that displaying the Hamas flag should be classified as a serious offense. UNRWA is making arrangements to close its activities in East Jerusalem due to the upcoming Israeli ban. 2 individuals linked to ISIS are included in the 17 people apprehended during a collaborative operation by Interpol and Afropol in Kenya. MGM has consented to a settlement of $45 million for individuals affected by the 2019 data breach and the 2023 ransomware incident. Recent side-channel attacks on Apple's new CPU compromise browser data. The highly anticipated Chinese AI application DeepSeek claims to have experienced extensive malicious attacks.
Scientists have found traces of saltwater and the building blocks of life in NASA samples from the asteroid Bennu. Chinese astronauts have successfully produced rocket fuel and oxygen in space using artificial photosynthesis for the first time. A fungus named after David Attenborough is transforming Irish spiders into zombies, as a mind-altering parasite is forcing cave spiders out of their homes in the Green Hills of Ireland.
Syria's newly formed government insists that Russia extradite Bashar al-Assad and requests compensation for previous errors during their initial discussions since Assad's downfall. Russia, aiming to maintain its military bases in Syria, describes the talks with the new leader as candid. Meanwhile, Mexico requests that Google refrain from adopting Trump's proposed name change, the Gulf of America. Additionally, Reuters highlights a poll indicating that a significant majority of Greenlanders are against becoming part of the United States. The U.S. Copyright Office states that AI prompts by themselves do not offer enough control over expression to safeguard AI-generated content. However, the office reassures that AI filmmaking tools can be used, and AI-assisted works may qualify for copyright protection if they contain sufficient human creativity. Meanwhile, the Authors Guild has introduced a human author portal to certify that books are the product of human intellect. Additionally, a report reveals that most U.S. teenagers have lost trust in big tech.
A study indicates that a significant majority of patients diagnosed with type 2 diabetes are deficient in vitamin D. Research suggests that heavy marijuana use can affect young adults' ability to recall information in the short term. A report reveals that American teenagers are becoming more frequently deceived by fabricated content available online. Electric ferry service powered by batteries to link Spain and Morocco. Saudi Arabia reveals intentions to enrich and export uranium. China constructed a record amount of wind and solar power in 2024. It was reported 7 months ago that China is responsible for building 2/3 of the new wind and solar projects worldwide, according to a report.
U.S. investigating whether DeepSeek obtained NVIDIA chips from companies in Singapore. Microsoft offers OpenAI's o1 reasoning model at no cost to all Copilot users. Allen Institute for AI tests DeepSeek on important benchmarks with a large new open-source AI model. Hans Zimmer's concert film, Diamond in the Desert, will be released in theaters in March. The NHL plans to broadcast animated versions of recent games to attract young audiences. Logan and Jake Paul announced their reality show, Paul American, following a viral fight tease.
A national audit has uncovered more than 200 legacy systems, indicating a severe and advancing cybersecurity threat to UK government services. According to the Wall Street Journal, Chinese and Iranian hackers are leveraging US AI products to enhance their cyber attacks. Law enforcement has taken control of servers from a cracked and nulled hacking forum and apprehended suspects.
Sweden plans to expedite legislation on surveillance for minors following a series of bombings. 2 individuals have been detained after Sweden experienced its 30th explosion since the beginning of the year. The BBC has issued an apology after a review revealed that employees joked about host Russell Brand exposing himself. This comes as the BBC reportedly apologizes to staff who felt unable to voice concerns about Russell Brand. 16 months ago, it was reported that Russell Brand faces new allegations of laughing on a radio show after exposing himself to a woman. In the United States, former Senator Bob Menendez has been sentenced to 11 years in prison on charges of corruption.
Hamas releases 8 additional hostages. Israel starts releasing Palestinian prisoners after a delay. The White House stated that Biden allocated $50 million for condoms in Gaza. A Biden official dismissed the claim as a feverish dream. The UN rights chief is requesting $500 million in 2025, cautioning that lives are in jeopardy. Pokémon TCG Pocket's next expansion launches on January 30th. Vintage Pokémon card collecting world rocked by a possible flood of fakes, as millions of dollars worth of vintage Pokémon cards might actually be fakes printed in 2024. Justin Baldoni's Pac-Man movie in doubt amid Blake Lively legal battle. Uber and Lyft are under investigation for potential antitrust violations related to a driver pay agreement in New York City. Meanwhile, Trump's FCC chief has initiated a probe into NPR and PBS. Additionally, Amazon is taking legal action against a state agency to prevent the disclosure of company records to the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos. Norway recently detained a ship with a Russian crew, suspected of severing an undersea cable. 4 days prior, Sweden also seized a ship following allegations of sabotage in the Baltic Sea, though Navabulgar claims the cable was not intentionally cut. Over the past 15 months, at least 11 Baltic cables have been damaged. Wiz Research has discovered a DeepSeek database that is leaking sensitive information, such as chat history. Adobe's product leader is transitioning to A24 to work on film projects. OpenAI is seeking tens of billions in new investment to support its financially losing business operations.
In a leaked recording of an all-hands meeting, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg admitted that the company failed to capitalize on the rise of TikTok because it initially did not appear to be social enough. During the meeting, Zuckerberg humorously remarked, "Everything I say leaks," indicating his awareness of the frequent sharing of his internal communications. He also urged employees to prepare for an intense year ahead, suggesting that the company would face significant challenges and opportunities. Separately, Meta has agreed to pay $25 million to settle a lawsuit filed by former President Donald Trump after his account was suspended following the events of January 6. Vanity Fair provided commentary on the settlement, suggesting that Meta had more to lose by potentially winning the case. Additionally, Paramount is engaged in settlement talks with Trump over a $10 billion lawsuit related to the 60 Minutes program. This legal action is part of a broader series of disputes involving Trump and various media outlets.
Former President Donald Trump has ignited controversy by suggesting that diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI policies may be responsible for a tragic mid-air collision in Washington, D.C. The incident occurred at Reagan-Washington National Airport, where officials have reported that no survivors are expected following the crash. Trump commented that the crash near the national airport looks like it should have been prevented, indicating his belief that the situation could have been avoided. The collision involved a jet and a helicopter, resulting in the aircraft crashing into the river, with more than 60 individuals dead in the aftermath. In a separate development, the White House has addressed concerns over drones originating from New Jersey that caused panic in the area. The White House clarified that these drones were not the enemy and were, in fact, authorized. This statement was made to reassure the public and emphasize that the drones pose no threat.
FCA claims that Staley provided false information to regulators regarding his connection with Epstein, and that Staley conversed with Epstein about Madoff, according to the FCA's allegations. 2 years prior, former Barclays CEO Staley was prohibited from working with UK banks due to his underestimation of his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, and Barclays faced legal action over the former CEO's association with Jeffrey Epstein. Kalshare, an online prediction market, plans to allow brokerages to participate in its betting activities. Sam Bankman-Fried's parents are considering seeking a Trump pardon for their son. In the United States, a federal law prohibiting handgun sales to individuals aged 18 to 20 has been deemed unconstitutional by an appeals court.
Anthropic's CEO views DeepSeek not as adversaries, but emphasizes the importance of export controls. Mark Zuckerberg credits DeepSeek with restoring his confidence in making significant investments in AI. Goldman Sachs describes the sell-off caused by DeepSeek as a correction, not the beginning of a bear market. DeepSeek R1 is accessible on Azure AI Foundry and GitHub. The IT minister announced that India will host DeepSeek on local servers to address privacy issues. Wired remarked that DeepSeek has imparted mouse with 2 fathers reaches adulthood, signifying a scientific breakthrough. 2 years prior, scientists developed mice with 2 fathers by creating eggs from male cates that microplastics present in placentas may be associated with premature births.
Vodafone achieves the first ever space video call, using a regular mobile phone and commercial satellites designed for comprehensive mobile broadband services. Apple currently boasts over 2.35 billion active devices globally. Yandex creates and releases Perforator, an open-source tool that helps businesses cut CPU resource usage by 20% each year on server infrastructure. Tesla to launch its self-driving robotaxi service in Austin in June, confirms Elon Musk. Opel, Fiat and Dacia plummet in German electric car sales in 2024, and Tesla slides in German EV ranking as new registrations plummet 41%. Waymo is reportedly building a charity tipping feature into its robotaxi app.
ECB cautions about challenges facing the Eurozone economy while reducing the rate to 2.75%. The U.S. economy expanded at a robust 2.3% rate in the last quarter, fueled by rising consumer spending, with a growth of 2.8% in 2024, although it decelerated towards the year's end. Trump reiterates his threat of tariffs to deter BRICS nations from considering alternatives to the U.S. dollar.
Microsoft's cloud expansion is limited due to a lack of data centers. According to a source, SoftBank is negotiating to invest up to $25 billion in OpenAI. Google is providing a voluntary exit option for all its U.S. employees working on platforms and devices. Chinese state media attributes a cyber attack that disrupted DeepSeek to the U.S. OpenAI collaborates with U.S. national laboratories on scientific research and nuclear weapons security. DeepSeek launches with an 83% failure rate in NewsGuard's chatbot Red Team audit.
Bill Gates supports Doge if it helps reduce government debt, suggesting they must address pensions, defense, and healthcare. The Trump White House cancels the order that halted federal spending, changing its previous stance. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. promotes AI as a solution for challenges faced by rural hospitals.
Experts might have discovered a new Vincent van Gogh portrait at a garage sale in Minnesota. The Design Museum in London showcases the final World of Tim Burton exhibition, featuring 600 set props and additional items. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin declares a $1 million reward for successfully decoding the Indus Valley script. The U.S. Department of Justice initiates legal action to prevent Hewlett-Packard Enterprise from proceeding with its $14 billion acquisition of Juniper. A legal complaint alleges that Amazon has been discreetly monitoring consumers using their cell phones. Uber takes legal steps against law firms and clinics, claiming they are involved in insurance fraud.
In the United States, the Department of Justice's LGBTQ employee group has been disbanded after operating for 30 years. In the United States, federal agencies have been instructed to terminate programs that promote gender ideology. A Pentagon agency has temporarily halted celebrations for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Black History Month, and other events.
In Berlin, a large gathering took place to oppose the far-right's support for a more stringent migration policy. Meanwhile, Austria's Kurz has criticized Merkel for the increase in the far-right AfD's influence in Germany. Recently, Merkel has also condemned the CDU leader for collaborating with the far-right AfD. In Norway, a Eurosceptic party has exited the government, resulting in the departure of nearly half of the cabinet. Additionally, Trump has instructed Guantanamo Bay to make preparations to accommodate up to 30,000 migrants. UN Secretary-General calls for the evacuation of 2,500 children from Gaza, citing doctors' warnings of an immediate risk of death. A top Hamas leader indicates the group might relinquish control of Gaza after the war, expressing openness to discussions with the U.S. on the matter. The European Union cautions Pakistan that its duty-free exporter status is contingent upon advancements in human rights and media freedom. Elon Musk acknowledges that Tesla must update old computers for those purchasing FSD. CEOs of LVMH's watch and jewelry divisions anticipate a rise in luxury sales by 2025. The vestigial human ear wiggling muscle is found to flex when we exert effort to listen.
NYSE is requesting SEC authorization to allow stock trading for 22 hours each day. Meta is considering reincorporation in Texas or another state to leave Delaware. Costco has increased the hourly wage for the majority of its store employees to more than $30. In the United States, a significant rise of 20.3% in egg prices is anticipated for the year 2025. Additionally, advertisements for Super Bowl 59 in 2025 are projected to reach an unprecedented cost of $16 million per minute. Furthermore, in the European Union, Temu, Shein, and Amazon are expected to be held responsible for any goods that are deemed unsafe or illegal. Superman estate sues Warner Bros. Discovery, DC Comics to block release in key territories. Fire Aid benefit featured a surprise reunion of surviving members of Nirvana. Jake Gyllenhaal to star in new original film from M. Night Shyamalan and Nicholas Sparks.
Solana experienced a 112% increase in stablecoin supply during January, driven by the Trump memecoin craze, according to CC data. Grayscale introduced a fund dedicated to Dogecoin as altcoin adoption accelerates. Tether announced a $13 billion profit for 2024, with increasing prices of Bitcoin and gold playing a role.
Several senior FBI leaders told to leave agency or be fired, people familiar with matters say, and FBI agents who worked on January 6 and Trump investigations are expected to be fired Friday. Elon Musk's Doge wants access to the Treasury's payment systems, claimed in a report, and senior U.S. official to exit after rift with Musk allies over payment system. Federal workers told to remove pronouns from email signatures.
North Korean troops are reportedly no longer visible on the front lines in Ukraine, having withdrawn after suffering significant losses, according to Ukrainian officials. Meanwhile, the Institute for the Study of War (ISW) claims that Putin will not conclude the war soon due to his planned slow advances. Additionally, Putin has stated that it is shameful to overlook the Soviet role in liberating Nazi death camps. RFK Jr. promises to cease collecting from a vaccine lawsuit if appointed to the cabinet. As stated in RFK Jr. HHS confirmation, Kennedy says he will give up stake in vaccine lawsuit. A letter supporting RFK Jr. to the Senate lists doctors whose licenses were revoked or suspended. RFK Jr. and Bernie Sanders engage in a heated argument over Big Pharma, with RFK Jr. accusing Sanders of accepting pharmaceutical money during an intense hearing.
Tron, Ares director shares an industrial sound from Nine Inch Nails. Neil Gaiman's The Sandman will conclude with Season 2 on Netflix. A total of 38 movie sequels and spin-offs are scheduled for release in theaters and on streaming platforms in 2025. In the United States, a distributor of ANOM-hardened encrypted devices has been sentenced to 63 months in prison for participating in a racketeering conspiracy. 3 years prior, it was revealed that the FBI's encrypted phone platform had infiltrated hundreds of criminal syndicates, leading to a significant worldwide takedown. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, authorities have arrested 100 suspects during a raid on an online scam farm. Additionally, Tata Technologies has reported that a ransomware attack affected its IT assets, with an investigation currently underway. Panama prepares for potential conflict as Trump's administration hints at a resolution, and a U.S. envoy expresses concerns about China's activities near the Panama Canal. The Kremlin confirms that BRICS is not considering a new currency following Trump's warning of imposing 100% tariffs. Canada declares its backing for workers and businesses in response to Trump's tariff threats.
India's exports reached a record $778.21 billion in FY 2023-24. In the upcoming annual budget, Prime Minister Modi may address the economic slowdown and potential trade issues. The budget is expected to include middle-class tax relief to boost growth and aim for a narrower budget gap. A study indicates that Trump tariffs will result in U.S. households paying an additional $830 annually. Research suggests that ancient Roman rule still influences personality and well-being in Germany. The Guardian states that Britain is evidently unable to thrive without immigration, and now the Labour Party must persuade the electorate. An Italian court halts the expulsion of asylum seekers, contesting Meloni's migrant agreement with Albania. The German parliament dismisses an opposition migration bill supported by the far-right AfD. Netanyahu travels to Washington to confer with Trump, aiming to reshape the Middle East. Wall Street Journal remarks that Hamas orchestrates hostage releases into a degrading display for Israel. Hezbollah, pro-Israel social media bot, malfunctions, labeling IDF soldiers as white colonizers in apartheid Israel.
The Taliban lack the legal authority to access the Afghan fund, which amounts to billions of dollars, according to a U.S. watchdog. Syria's newly appointed interim president embarks on his inaugural foreign visit to Saudi Arabia. Kyrgyzstan, a country with a Muslim majority, has imposed a ban on the niqab. U.S. lawmakers suggest reducing NVIDIA's chip supply to China after the DeepSeek incident. Singapore advises U.S. companies to adhere to export controls amid questions about DeepSeek's acquisition of NVIDIA chips from Singapore-based firms. Sam Altman indicates that OpenAI will adopt 2 new AI strategies, one from DeepSeek and another from Meta, and he criticizes OpenAI for being on the wrong side of history, advocating for a new open-source policy. YesML CEO views DeepSeek as positive news for semiconductor manufacturers.
In the U.S., the deadly Eaton and Palisades fires have been completely contained after 24 days. In Australia's northeast, one person has died and thousands have been advised to evacuate due to flooding. Preliminary NTSB data indicates that pilots attempted to raise the nose of a passenger jet within seconds of a deadly DC helicopter collision. Additionally, a soldier has been identified in the DC plane crash, with data suggesting the helicopter might have been too high. India plans to generate 100 gigawatts of nuclear energy by 2047 to support its energy transition, according to the government. Scientists at NIST have created a highly precise method for measuring temperature, using large Rydberg atoms. A UK scientist has received an award for an invention that might prevent a catastrophic event, known as phosphogeddon. Wandering salamanders remain in tree canopies due to their blood-powered toes, which they fill with blood prior to each step. Urban rodent populations increase significantly as the climate warms. According to a study, India has successfully doubled its tiger population over the past decade. Polar bear population declining due to extended energy deficit caused by food scarcity. Arctic groundwater is releasing more carbon into the ocean than previously estimated. Trinity College research indicates that human sheep herding has been practiced for 11,000 years. Trump has signed 3 executive orders, introducing a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico, and a 10% tariff on imports from China. China criticizes Trump's tariff decision, stating, "Fentanyl is America's problem." According to Bloomberg, Trump's tariffs aim to address a loophole exploited by Chinese online retailers. Canada plans to impose retaliatory tariffs of 25% on $155 billion worth of U.S. goods in 2 stages, while Mexico has promised to retaliate against Trump's tariffs, but has not specified the targets. Lawsuit alleges that the systems responsible for the OPM government-wide email blast are both unlawful and lack security. Elon Musk's team has now
and involves a group of experts in AI and transgenderism, with members of his AI fringe group apprehended for 2 murders. Gmail acknowledges AI hacking and alerts its 2.5 billion users. Japan intends to limit exports of semiconductors and quantum computing technology. Meanwhile, Trump plans to impose tariffs on chips produced in Taiwan, specifically targeting TSMC. In response to this threat, Taiwan has indicated it might support its industrial sector. Just 5 days ago, Taiwan asserted that its chip business is mutually beneficial following Trump's tariff warning. Additionally, China cautioned Japan that restricting chip exports could jeopardize supply chains. Grayscale introduces a fund specifically centered on Dogecoin amid increasing altcoin adoption. Coinbase purchases the ads platform Spindle to address the issue of on-chain discovery. Swiss financial institution UBS evaluates blockchain technology for digital gold investments utilizing zkSYNC.
NTSB compels journalists to receive plane crash information via X. The Pentagon ousts NBC, NPR, NYT, and Politico from their offices, intending to replace them with Breitbart and One America News. In the United States, agencies are instructed to clear federal government websites of diversity-related material.
Meta has restricted news access in Canada, leading to an increase in scam advertisements. Elon Musk's X is initiating legal action against additional advertisers due to an ad boycott. OpenAI is utilizing the r/ChangeMyView subreddit to evaluate AI persuasion abilities.
ML Commons and Hugging Face collaborate to unveil a large speech dataset for AI research. The DeepSeek app maintains the highest global position in downloads, with significant contributions from India. According to reports, ChatGPT subscribers have almost increased to 15.5 million in 2024. A 3D map, the oldest in the world, was found in a Paleolithic cave near Paris, dating back to 18,000 BCE. Apple has reportedly ceased development on augmented reality glasses designed to connect with Macs. Israeli startups are said to be expanding their global reach following their significant involvement in the war. Former senior advisor to the Federal Reserve faces indictment for economic espionage. The FDA and CISA issue a warning about a backdoor vulnerability in a widely used patient monitor by U.S. hospitals. Polish authorities have taken into custody the former justice chief in connection with the Pegasus spyware scandal.
Reuters has revealed that Volkswagen has initiated legal action against India to invalidate a substantial $1.4 billion tax claim, as detailed in a legal document. Additionally, in 2023, China experienced a record surge in Atlantic salmon imports, reaching nearly 93,000 tons, which marks a 46% increase compared to the previous year. Furthermore, Beijing has responded to Trump's tariffs by launching an investigation into Google.
Super Bowl ads have been noted for foreshadowing the dot-com and crypto bubbles. This year, expect numerous ads promoting AI companies. OpenAI's latest trademark application suggests the development of humanoid robots, smart jewelry, and additional products. The EU has now prohibited AI systems that pose inequity references from its public health materials. Earth's moon might have once possessed rings similar to those of Saturn, according to a recent study. China is planning its Chang'e 7 mission, which will deploy a flying robot to explore the moon's south pole in search of water. A Chinese spacecraft disintegrated over Los Angeles, and earthquake sensors tracked its trajectory through the atmosphere.
Mind blindness explained. Individuals unable to visualize with their mind's eye still engage their visual cortex, according to research. Researchers find cannabis in a completely different plant in Brazil. The grease in polar bears' hair provides their fur with anti-icing characteristics. Bonobos discern human ignorance and attempt to assist.
Texas Stock Exchange submits Form 1 registration to function as a national securities exchange. LVMH offloads its stake in Stella McCartney to the founder following a market downturn. Meta's investment in virtual reality and smart glasses is projected to exceed $100 billion. Security technique prevents 95% of jailbreaks and welcomes red teamers to attempt to breach.
Trump temporarily halts Mexico tariffs for a month following a deal on border troops. Elon Musk mentioned that Donald Trump concurred with the idea of shutting down USAID. Previously, Musk expressed his efforts to dismantle USAID, describing it as beyond repair.
Human brain samples were found to have a spoonful of nanoplastics, according to a study. Astronomers are advocating for a worldwide prohibition on space advertising. Climate change is projected to reduce $1.47 trillion in U.S. home values over the next 30 years.
Jimmy Carter receives a Grammy posthumously for narrating an audiobook of his Sunday school lessons. During the Grammys 2025 ceremony, Beyoncé secures her inaugural Album of the Year award, while Kendrick Lamar achieves significant victories. Missouri's Chappell Roan is honored with a Grammy for Best New Artist and delivers a speech criticizing record labels. An AI-generated song earns the Beatles their first Grammy 55 years after their disbandment, winning the award for Best Rock Performance. Bitfarms, a Bitcoin miner on Wall Street, has engaged consultants to assess AI and HPC. Utah has decided to establish a state Bitcoin reserve program, following the passage of a bill permitting public funds to invest up to 5% in digital assets. 2 weeks prior, Massachusetts introduced strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation. Additionally, an Arizona Senate committee approved a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill with a 5-2 vote, which would permit a 10% investment of state funds in Bitcoin. El Salvador has taken Bitcoin out of legal tender status to comply with IMF loan requirements.
Electric cars captured 96% of Norway's market in January. By producing batteries in Morocco, Chinese EV manufacturers are overcoming Western tariffs. Trump indicates that he desires Ukraine's rare earth elements as a prerequisite for additional support.
Trump plans to cut U.S. funding to South Africa over land law. Musk has also criticized the country. South Africa denies confiscating land after Trump threatens to cut off aid. Taiwan says South Africa gives March deadline to move office from Pretoria. GOP pollster says Trump voters tired of being accused of racism.
A reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer featuring Sarah Michelle Gellar is being developed by an MCU director. Additionally, Netflix has commissioned a reboot of Little House on the Prairie, marking the first time in over 40 years since the original series aired. Meanwhile, U.S. streaming ad revenue is expected to near $17 billion, although competition is intensifying.
AMD's Sev SNP vulnerability enables malicious microcode injection with administrative privileges. Cloudflare introduces one-click content credentials, tracks image authenticity, and maintains creator attribution. Meta indicates potential halt in AI system development, citing risks deemed too high. SoftBank announces joint venture with OpenAI, pledges $3 billion annually for OpenAI's technology. A new bill aimed at significantly reducing anime and other piracy activities in the United States has received support from major companies such as Netflix, Disney, and Sony. Meanwhile, CNN is planning to enhance its presence in the Middle East by establishing a new operation in Media City, Qatar. Additionally, MotoGP and FanCode have reached a 3-year agreement for digital streaming rights in India. Financial Times reports as corporate America cozies up to Elon Musk as billionaire deepens ties to Donald Trump. Wall Street Journal reports as Trump hints at curbs on Musk's powers after billionaire shakes up Washington. The Atlantic comments as Elon Musk is president. Doge's access to federal data is an absolute nightmare, legal experts warn, and unions sue to block Musk team's access to Treasury payments. Reportedly, Elon Musk installs a legal server to seize all federal workers' data. Trump-appointed D.C. attorney offers to protect Musk's Doge staff, and Elon Musk is serving as a special government employee, White House says.
In the United States, Russian and Uzbek nationals have been charged with a conspiracy to file false voter registration applications, totaling 132 fraudulent submissions. A former British soldier who spied for Iran and successfully escaped from prison has been sentenced to 14 years. The United States plans to withdraw once more from the UN Human Rights Council and cease funding for UNRWA.
FBI agents investigating UFOs fear potential exclusion in a possible purge. Rubio declares himself acting director of USAID amid the humanitarian agency's integration into the State Department. RFK Jr. allegedly provided inaccurate information to the U.S. Senate regarding measles deaths, according to Samoa's health chief. Certain migrants detained during Trump's immigration enforcement have been set free within the United States. El Salvador proposes an extraordinary arrangement to accommodate violent individuals from the U.S. and deportees of any nationality. Mexican drug cartels are reportedly plotting assaults on Border Patrol agents using kamikaze drones and other explosive devices in response to the U.S. crackdown.
USPS will now accept all inbound packages from China and Hong Kong. Previously, the U.S. Postal Service had suspended these parcels. Additionally, China has placed Google, Nvidia, Intel, Calvin Klein parent PVH, and Illumina on its unreliable entity list. Bloomberg also mentions that China is considering an investigation into Apple's App Store fees and practices. Meanwhile, a Panama court is being urged to cancel a Hong Kong firm's canal contract due to a Trump threat. The Panama Canal Authority, however, denies any changes to fee charges following a U.S. claim. Recently, U.S. government vessels have been allowed to sail the Panama Canal without fees, according to the U.S.
OpenAI's Sora filmmaking tool encounters opposition in Hollywood. Meta reorganizes its generative AI, Messenger, and Facebook divisions. ByteDance introduces OmniHuman, an AI capable of producing lifelike videos from a solitary photo.
Argentina is developing genetically modified polo ponies. Australian researchers have successfully created kangaroo embryos through IVF for the first time. The earliest known evidence of lead pollution has been discovered in ancient Greece.
Ampere reveals that streamers will allocate $95 billion to content in 2025, outpacing commercial broadcasters. Reuters is set to embark on a significant expansion in the Middle East. The NMPA initiates a comprehensive takedown of Spotify's podcasts, alleging infringement, and vows to continue until the platform resolves its podcast issues. In the United States, a lawsuit alleges that the University of California has discriminated against white and Asian individuals during Trump's DI crackdown. According to sources, the NFL plans to eliminate end racism messaging from the end zone before the Super Bowl. Additionally, Google has abandoned its diversity hiring objectives, citing Trump's DEI directives.
In the U.S., SEC plans to reduce its crypto enforcement activities. Taproot Wizards secures $30 million to enhance smart contracts on Bitcoin. White House crypto czar David Sacks emphasizes stablecoin legislation as the top priority, while Senator Bill Hagerty introduces the Genius Act to establish a stablecoin framework. Former Google engineer is charged in the U.S. with allegedly stealing AI secrets for Chinese firms. The EU establishes guidelines to prevent the misuse of AI by employers, websites, and law enforcement. Google retracts its commitment not to employ AI for weapons or surveillance. Apple introduces the Apple Invites app to facilitate party invitations, aiming to generate recurring revenue. Opera Air, a browser specifically crafted for stress management and enhancing focus, has been launched. An internal memo from Meta's CTO indicates that 2025 is a critical year for the company's XR ambitions. WHO indicates that the worldwide cancer burden is expanding, highlighting the increasing demand for services. Research suggests that COVID-19 is associated with a rise in biomarkers indicating abnormal brain proteins. Investigations connect marijuana use to enduring changes in the cortex and an increased risk of schizophrenia.
Volvo to deploy Waabi self-driving Gen AI to get more autonomous freight trucks on the road in 2025. Adobe claims that 69% admitted signing a contract without knowing all the details and announces Adobe AI Assistant for overview, summaries, and differences between versions. Google parent Alphabet plans to spend $75 billion this year, as big tech goes all in on AI.
Carla Sofia Gascon reportedly removed from the Emilia Perez Oscars campaign, due to the reemergence of concerning posts. President Biden has joined a Hollywood talent agency that also represents the Obamas. Bandai's live-action Gundam film is set to have a theatrical release.
Thailand has reduced electricity supply to regions along the Myanmar border where scam operations are prevalent, amid increasing pressure from China. China is implementing stricter regulations to oversee the distribution of microdramas. The Chinese box office achieved a record-breaking $1.3 billion during the Lunar New Year, with IMAX also reaching new milestones.
Bloomberg states that over 20,000 federal workers have accepted Musk's buyout. Sources indicate the CIA is offering buyouts to its entire workforce to match Trump's priorities. NASA workers were instructed to drop everything, to remove mentions of indigenous people and women from its websites. It has been remarked as Musk demonstrating what real government censorship on social media entails. Zelensky urges Tucker Carlson to cease his admiration for Putin following Carlson's accusation of Zelensky as a dictator. Ukraine accepts Trump's proposal to exchange minerals for military aid. The EU and Moldova reach an agreement on an energy security plan to reduce Moldova's dependence on Russian energy.
Trump advises Gazans to evacuate, stating the U.S. will assume control and reconstruct the area. He does not exclude the possibility of deploying U.S. troops to aid in rebuilding Gaza and envisions long-term U.S. ownership. Saudi Arabia quickly responds, asserting no diplomatic relations with Israel without the establishment of a Palestinian state. A pro-Trump Arab-American organization renames itself following the president's remarks about Gaza's Riviera. Iran commends the U.S. for reducing foreign aid funding, anticipating a Trump message on nuclear negotiations. Greenland's parliament endorses a prohibition on foreign political donations as Trump pursues the island. Mexico's foreign minister declares that the country will not permit the U.S. to deport Mexicans to Guantanamo.
A viral image of Mars' surface featuring a square structure has sparked conspiracy theories. Meanwhile, Musk is planning to send astronauts. Temperatures at the North Pole are 20 degrees Celsius above average, surpassing the ice melting point. Researchers suggest that an ancient asteroid impact created two Grand Canyons on the Moon, with the Moon Grand Canyon forming in less than 10 minutes due to high-speed space rocks, according to a study.
Iran is reportedly creating plans for quicker and more basic weapons, according to the U.S. Analysts suggest that the American Iron Dome diminishes nuclear threats, but intensifies the arms race. Reuters indicates that satellite images reveal China constructing a massive fusion research facility, with analysts noting that China is building a colossal laser facility to achieve nearly limitless clean energy.
Hugging Face researchers are working on creating an open alternative to OpenAI's advanced deep research tool. OpenAI's deep research has achieved remarkable success by setting new records on the world's most challenging AI exam, leaving ChatGPT-o3 Mini and DeepSeek behind. The DeepSeek jailbreak has exposed its entire system prompt. Scientists have identified a third form of magnetism, which could potentially be the missing link in the pursuit of superconductivity. Google anticipates that commercial quantum computing applications will become available within the next 5 years. IBM asserts that it has secured $1 billion in cumulative quantum business. Consuming omega-3 fatty acids daily might aid in maintaining the youthfulness of human organs. Adolescents with a higher intake of ultra-processed foods tend to have lower academic performance. Research indicates that prolonged cannabis use interferes with essential brain functions.
Researchers developed an accessible alternative to OpenAI's O1 reasoning model, named the manufacturers. It is said that the New York Times has allocated $10.8 million to its ongoing legal dispute with OpenAI.
Trump tariffs reportedly surprised consumers with shipping fees from China reaching up to $50. Snap claims that the uncertainty surrounding TikTok has positively impacted its business. Robinhood has stopped the introduction of Super Bowl betting contracts following a request from the CFTC.
Spain plans to reduce the working week to 37.5 hours. Recent research indicates that Gen Z digital natives are eager for in-person events to foster connections and progress in their careers. OpenAI collaborates with the California State University system to integrate AI with 500,000 students and faculty, aiming to enhance higher education in the U.S. through the ChatGPT rollout at California State University.
Kazakhstan has made a significant public health decision by banning the sale of energy drinks to minors. In the United States, senators are progressing a bill that would prohibit children under the age of 13 from using social media. Meanwhile, Novo Nordisk remains optimistic despite the potential threat of Trump tariffs, as their sales of the weight loss jab continue to rise. It was reported 6 months ago that the use of drugs for weight loss is increasing among teens, with girls being the most frequent users. 2 years ago, Reuters highlighted that the maker of Wegovy and Ozempic is investing heavily in U.S. obesity doctors.
Kaspersky has identified a new Trojan designed to steal cryptocurrency, which is available on both the App Store and Google Play. Meanwhile, Chainalysis has indicated a 35% decrease in ransomware payments year over year, with less than half of the recorded incidents resulting in victims making payments. Additionally, a 7-zip 0-day vulnerability was exploited during Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. MicroStrategy has rebranded itself as Strategy, introducing a new logo and emphasizing its Bitcoin-centric identity. OpenAI has launched a new logo featuring an updated color scheme and typeface. Volkswagen is hinting at its upcoming €20,000 electric vehicle, with a show reveal scheduled for March 5th. Apple TV Plus introduces a new K-pop song competition series called K-Popped, featuring PSY and Megan Thee Stallion. Fox News brings on Lara Trump, the president's daughter-in-law, for a weekend program on the network. Warner Brothers is unexpectedly releasing lesser-known and delightful films on YouTube for free viewing. Germany's MERS cautions that the U.S. has transformed into no longer the America we used to know. According to Axios, Tesla experienced a decline in European sales in January following Musk's political disruptions there. Additionally, Axios notes that a PBS poll reveals significant support among Trump voters despite the GOP's efforts to defund PBS. Lastly, it is reported that in the U.S., Democrats are receiving numerous calls urging them to fight harder.
Wall Street Journal indicates that Trump is contemplating classifying migrants as potential risks for measles and tuberculosis. During Rubio's visit, Guatemala has consented to receive additional deportees, and the U.S. plans to confiscate Venezuelan president's plane located in the Dominican Republic. The Panama Canal Authority refutes allegations of altering fee structures following a U.S. assertion. The U.S. government claimed that its vessels can navigate the Panama Canal without incurring fees. Elon Musk allegedly faces a significant conflict of interest driving his efforts to dismantle USAID, as the agency invested $1 million in Musk's Starlink terminals over the past year. It has been noted that USAID, perceived as Musk's adversary, was examining Starlink's contracts in Ukraine. 3 days ago, it was reported that Musk claimed Donald Trump concurred with the need to shut down USAID. The White House stated that Musk will manage his own conflicts of interest. A House Democrat introduced a bill named after Musk, which aims to terminate federal contracts for special government employees.
Trump issues an executive order titled No Men in Women's Sports, stating that transgender athletes will be barred from the 2028 Olympic Games. The Milei government in Argentina plans to prohibit gender affirmation surgery and hormone treatment for individuals under the age of 18. In the United States, the women's soccer secures a $5 million settlement with the state regarding allegations of abuse.
AMD surpassed Intel, achieving a 13.5% increase in data center and AI revenue during the fourth quarter. Apple's M5 chip, designed with AI in mind, has begun mass production. Google adjusted its Super Bowl advertisement after it depicted its AI providing inaccurate information about Gouda cheese. Consuming 1 egg per week is associated with a 29% reduction in the risk of dying from heart disease. Researchers have achieved the goal of depriving cancer cells of nutrients by creating artificial fat cells that absorb the surrounding resources. A study proposes that an ancient section of the brain signals when to cease eating. Honda-Nissan merger faces major challenges as Nissan declines proposal. Toyota Motor experiences nearly 28% decline in third-quarter operating profit, falling short of expectations. Ford shares decline as company predicts slower growth and additional losses for electric vehicle division.
Justin's son, who purchased Sotheby's $6 million banana, initiates legal action against mega collector David Geffen regarding a $78 million Giacometti sculpture. 4 years ago, Tron's founder, Justin's son, had previously donated Giacometti's $78.4 million Lou Nez to the Apenft Foundation. Meanwhile, the British Council, amid a debt crisis, contemplates selling part of its art collection. Additionally, Knight Frank reports that Dubai's luxury residential market achieved a new milestone in 2024 with 435 home sales priced at $10 million or more.
In Google Ads update, landing pages that mislead users are now ranked lower. Mizuno USA acknowledges a data breach after a ransomware claim was made. Uganda arrests 9 finance officials in connection with a $16.87 million central bank hack. Bangladesh demonstrators set fire to the residence of the former Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. Donald Trump Jr. is alleged to have discharged a firearm at a safeguarded rare duck in the Venice Lagoon. Nigel Farage dismisses a query regarding Donald Trump's strategy for Gaza, humorously mentioning casinos, nightlife very appealing to me. EA anticipates the next Battlefield installment will be available before April 2026. African gaming revenues have reached a new record of $1.8 billion. Marvel refutes claims of using AI for new Fantastic Four posters, which feature extra fingers and duplicate faces. Voldex has acquired a player base of 120 million from Brookhaven,